rural heart of Central Florida, where dense palm forests and swampy wetlands intertwine, has become the perfect battlefield for wild boars to thrive. These creatures multiply rapidly, invading gardens, destroying irrigation systems, and leaving behind heavy damage. Facing the risk of losing their crops, local landowners turn to us, hoping to reclaim their land from this invasion. A challenging pursuit awaits. Let's step into the journey together. Before dawn breaks, our hunting truck quietly rolls toward the forest, where wild boars usually begin their destruction. With years of experience, we know their habits and active hours. Every detail is planned meticulously. Every step, every breath is calculated as we move into position. Soon, the first targets appear. I raise my rifle, aim precisely, and squeeze the trigger. Swift, clean, decisive. The beast collapses instantly. Those opening shots mark the beginning of our mission to restore peace to this land. We move deeper into the forest, following fresh hoofprints pressed into the damp soil. Not a sound escapes as the team sticks close to the trail, eyes scanning every palm bush and shadowed corner. "There it is," I whisper. I lift my gun, take careful aim, a perfect shot. The boar drops on the spot, without a chance to react. Elsewhere, Ethan, my teammate, has skillfully set up bait. From a high vantage point, he watches the herd's movement. In a narrow valley where the boars often pass, he quietly raises his rifle and takes aim at the massive leader. A single shot rings out, the target falls, and chaos erupts among the rest of the herd. Seeing Ethan's strategy work so effectively, we quickly expand our traps and split up to cover key positions. This is our land, and our duty is to protect it. Once again, the boars fall into our ambush. With quick, precise shots, we neutralize several more threats, safeguarding the farms and crops from further destruction. Meanwhile, at a crosspoint where many herds converge, Ethan's team is ready. As soon as a target appears, he fires. A clean hit, the boar collapses. The others scatter in panic, but every escape route is already blocked. The sharp crack of rifles echoes through the woods, cutting off any chance of escape. Following the trail, Ethan spots a large herd moving deeper into the forest. Without hesitation, he fires again, taking down another. When he prepares to continue, the rest of the herd vanishes into the thick foliage. Determined, Ethan signals us to advance further into the dense swamp. The rough terrain and thick vegetation make tracking almost impossible without the hunting dogs leading the way. Suddenly, a giant wild boar bursts out of a bush, its eyes glowing red. Instinct takes over. I tighten my grip on the trigger. The shot echoes through the humid air, and the creature falls instantly. We keep searching through the undergrowth, where a few survivors are still hiding. The sound of barking dogs and rustling leaves mix with the pounding of our hearts. A few more precise shots ring out, each one delivering a clear message. This land is no longer a safe haven for wild boars. And so, another long day in Florida's wilderness comes to an end, leaving behind unforgettable memories. If you enjoy thrilling hunting adventures like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join us on the next expedition. See you again on the next hunt.
The once peaceful land is now scarred with deep footprints sunk into the soil. The entire field looks as if a violent storm had torn through. But this wasn't the work of wind or rain. It was the trail left by a massive herd of wild boars that had swept across, leaving destruction in their wake. Fierce, stubborn, and always moving in packs, they wiped out the crops and pushed many families into hardship. Faced with such devastation, no one could stand by and do nothing. The villagers came together, forming a special hunting team, determined to drive the beasts away from their land. At first light, we gathered at the foot of the hill, the grass still heavy with dew and the damp scent of earth in the air. Everyone quietly checked their guns, magazines loaded and ready. The hunting dogs were released, darting swiftly around the thick, shadowy brush. Suddenly, a burst of frantic barking shattered the silence. Our prey had been found. Hearts pounding, we spread out to surround the spot. Moments later, a massive wild boar burst out, charging headlong. A gunshot cracked through the morning mist. The beast staggered, stumbled a few steps, then collapsed on the damp ground. In the middle of the dry, red earth, we suddenly came face to face with a herd of wild boars foraging. The air grew tense, every eye fixed ahead. A single well-aimed shot rang out, dropping the leader instantly. The herd panicked, scattering in chaos. We fired again, and another went down. Thankfully, no one in the group was hurt, though our hearts were still pounding hard. From the opposite hillside, the sudden rustling of dry leaves put everyone on edge. A herd of wild boars was busy foraging under the thick canopy. Without wasting a second, we quickly took our positions, and a volley of gunfire echoed through the mountains. One boar was hit, tumbling down the slope. As the sunlight began to soften, our group pressed on, following the remaining tracks. The hunting dogs barked furiously, and sure enough, a massive dark figure burst out from the left. In a split second, it nearly rammed into one of us. Luckily, in that dangerous moment, I reacted on instinct, firing a close-range shot that dropped the beast after just a few staggering steps. Time was running out, and we had to head back before nightfall. But just as we made one last check along the trail, the glow of sunset broke through the trees, revealing a massive figure. A full-grown wild boar suddenly appeared, unaware of our presence. We all knew this was a chance we couldn't miss. A single shot rang out, clean, precise, and the danger was over. That catch filled everyone with pride. By the time we made it back to the village, night had fully fallen. Exhausted and covered in dust, we were worn out, yet there was a deep sense of relief, because throughout the day, we had managed to stop the wild herd's fierce advance from the mountains down into the fields. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos.
On the frozen and harsh lands of Turkey, wild boars not only survive but thrive. With their thick fat and dense fur, they can easily withstand the biting cold. No matter how severe the weather, they never stop moving, foraging for food, and leaving behind traces of destruction wherever they go. To stop this menace, we decided to act with unyielding determination. Are you ready? Join us on this challenging journey. After days of heavy snowfall, today the sky is clear, an ideal chance for a special hunt. We quickly packed our gear, prepared for every danger ahead. Upon arrival, our team spread out, following the faint tracks left on the snow. Soon, the dogs barked loudly, signaling the prey was near. When the silhouettes of wild boars appeared, bullets whistled toward the targets. The chase ended with a massive beast, weighing nearly 200 kilograms, a true destruction machine. Not far away, Leon's team spotted another target. They picked a good position, adjusted their scopes carefully. A shot echoed sharply through the misty air. Despite struggling to escape, the beast collapsed on the spot. The group cheered loudly, celebrating a quick and precise hit. We didn't stop there. Step by step, we kept advancing to find more prey. Continuous gunfire made the other boars scatter. I adjusted my scope and fired. A decisive shot brought the situation under control. Snow kept falling, the temperature dropped further, but the team stayed persistent. As night came with no more targets, we decided to head back, carrying the hard-earned victory of the day. The next morning, we boldly ventured deeper into the nearby forest, this time without the dog's support. All senses were on high alert: keen eyes, sharp ears, and even the faintest sense. Thanks to that, we quickly spotted another target. I knew I had only one chance. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Another perfect shot. Another win. Deeper into the forest, I remained alert, scanning every branch and sound. Suddenly, an unusual noise and a familiar smell drifted in the wind. Before I could react, a whole herd of wild boars charged forward. I fired immediately, dropping one. Their speed and agility were astounding. I alerted Leon, and as expected, he intercepted them. His precise shots cut off their escape route. Gunshots echoed through the forest, not only marking the end of a chase but also symbolizing relief. Relief from the sleepless nights villagers had endured due to the endless destruction. Returning home, we were exhausted, yet at peace. At least, today's threat had been subdued. We know the wild boars are still out there, but we will return. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join us on the next hunt.
Our battle with wild boars feels like it never truly ends.
Through the icy air, dropping a boar.
They roam the mountains and forests day and night, no matter the season.
Snow-packed chaos, their unpredictable strength every moment of battle. We held our ground, taking down steady hands and iron resolve.
But when winter comes, with snow burying every trail and the cold cutting like a blade, everything turns far more brutal.
Wild charging with reckless fury. We fanned out. A well-placed shot dropped one boar. Some of the others scrambled in chaos.
Still, our mission remains the same, to stop the advance of these destroyers of crops.
The snow is already stained red. From
And today, join us to witness firsthand this dramatic confrontation. The forest lay buried under a thick blanket of snow, with bare trees standing tall like silent sentinels. In that eerie stillness came the crunch of heavy steps breaking through the snow. A herd of wild boars trudged forward, unaware of the danger waiting ahead. Then a gunshot cracked through the silence, echoing across the frozen woods. One of them collapsed instantly, and the rest scattered in panic, vanishing into the depths of the forest.
Strength to destroy them. In this cold, snowy land.
As I hid behind the frozen trees, a massive wild boar suddenly burst out from the depths of the forest, charging straight toward me. There was no time to hesitate.
The gunshot
A shot rang out, the bullet struck
true. The leader of the herd collapsed immediately. The pigs panicked and ran away, but we did not allow that to happen. Aiming the scope at the target,
and the beast collapsed into the snow. On the other side, the hunting dogs barked fiercely, driving prey out of the thickets to give Jack the perfect opening.
But this time we were more aggressive. We killed them all and it was all over.
Another gunshot thundered, and the animal fell, with no chance of escape. On another mountain slope, my companion Michael quietly moved into position, just as planned.
Run.
The terrain was treacherous, steep cliffs and sparse trees, perfect hiding places for wild boars. Sometimes they burrowed deep in thick brush, other times they slipped into dark rock crevices, almost impossible to spot.
He waited patiently for them to separate. Then, without hesitation, he pulled the trigger. The sudden strike caught the boars completely off guard. As the first one dropped, a rapid succession of clean, calculated shots followed, efficient and cold, just like the frozen scene around him. To the wild to tackle real challenges head-on. This time, he ventured onto the icy slope, and after 3 precise shots, it collapsed in the snow.
Michael edged carefully along the narrow path when suddenly, from the shadows, a fierce boar burst out like an arrow tearing through the silence. With years of hardened experience, he raised his rifle and fired. The shot thundered across the mountains, and the beast dropped instantly. Down on the slope, a wild boar kept digging in the snow, completely unaware of the danger closing in. But its time had run out. Michael calmly chambered around, his eyes locked firmly on the target. With one clean shot, the beast dropped instantly, without a chance to struggle. Halfway up the slope, a few dark shapes stirred, slipping out from the thickets. I held my breath, gripping the rifle tight, eyes fixed on their every move. The click of metal broke the silence, followed by two thunderous shots, both dead on, ending it in an instant.
At a distance of 400 m, the whole group focused, held their guns firmly, and opened fire. That was a mistake.
Today, we brought back more than a few trophies. Our legs were worn out, our bodies drained after chasing through the snow-covered mountains. Yet inside, there was a rush of excitement mixed with a calm satisfaction, knowing we had done our part to protect this land from the destruction of these beasts. And I know, when tomorrow's dawn breaks, the journey will continue, with new challenges and surprises waiting ahead. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next thrilling story. Today, wild boars are no longer just forest animals. They've become a nightmare in the heart of Georgia. These creatures breed at a pace no one can control. From hiding in the thickets, they now storm into villages and farmlands, leaving destruction everywhere. At first, it was only a few rows of corn torn up. But night after night, they came in greater numbers, fiercer, tearing through the land like a dark flood. Faced with this threat, picking up a gun is no longer about sport, it's a duty to protect the fields, the harvest, and people's very survival. That hunting trip was prepared down to the last detail. The rifles were polished to a shine, every cartridge checked with care. Even the hounds grew restless, as if sensing something big was about to happen. The signs of the herd were everywhere, deep hoofprints sunk into the mud, patches of grass torn apart. The group pressed on toward the cornfield, nerves wound tight. Then suddenly, a massive boar emerged. A gunshot cracked through the air, and the beast dropped instantly. Excitement surged, but everyone knew the real battle had only just begun. The group decided to turn toward the back hill, where rocky ground and thick grass made it the perfect hiding place for wild boars during the day. Just minutes later, a dark shadow darted up the slope. Without hesitation, he raised his rifle, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The shot thundered, the animal took the hit, and its heavy body tumbled down, crushing the grass beneath it. Suddenly, from the opposite hillside, a whole herd of wild boars poured down like a flood, shaking the ground beneath their feet. One hunter held steady, took careful aim, and fired. The first shot dropped a boar, sending the rest into chaos. He managed to squeeze off another round, felling a second, before the herd vanished into the thick trees, leaving behind an eerie, unsettling silence. The group, fired up, charged in the direction the herd had fled. Their footsteps pounded the ground, hearts thundering like war drums. As soon as they entered the forest, they split apart, quietly slipping between the trees. The air grew thick with tension. Everyone knew that somewhere in the underbrush, the enemy was still hiding, alert, watchful, and ready to strike back. After a tense chase, one hunter suddenly spotted a boar crouching in the brush. He stayed silent, waiting for the right moment. Just as the animal turned its head to flee, a gunshot split the air. The bullet struck true, dropping it instantly. Before the dust settled, another boar came charging from a different direction. The hunter stayed calm, held his aim, and fired again. In a matter of seconds, another wild boar lay lifeless on the ground. Nearly an hour later, the group moved down into the lowlands, where the ground was flat and the view stretched wide. It was the perfect terrain for the dogs to work, but it forced the hunters to tread carefully. Few trees meant little cover. Suddenly, a boar burst out from the brush, charging straight ahead. The hunter reacted in an instant, pulled the trigger, and the shot dropped the animal in a cloud of dust. As dusk settled in, the group quietly hid along the edge of the thicket, eyes locked on the darkening stretch ahead. Suddenly, a shadow stirred, emerging in the dim light. The hunter instantly stepped back, keeping a safe distance, and raised his rifle. In that moment, the gunshot thundered through the stillness. The shot was so precise that the beast collapsed on the spot, without the slightest chance to react. After a long, grueling day, with sweat soaking his clothes and his heartbeat still echoing in his chest, the hunter looked back at the outcome: the wild boars brought down, the crops and land secured. He knew this hunt was more than just a pursuit of game, it was a fight to preserve peace and safety for the entire community. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and follow the channel to join us on the next adventures.
Texas, Alabama, Georgia, across the entire American South, people are still battling their most relentless destroyer, massive herds of wild hogs that no one can fully control. They tear up cornfields, ruin grazing pastures, smash fences, and throw countless families' lives into chaos. Electric fences, once considered the last hope, have become nothing more than a weak boundary. Even warning shots no longer scare them off. With every defense failing, residents have no choice but to call us, the hunters who specialize in tracking this destructive species. We arrived at the farm early in the morning, walking across ground that had been torn apart, covered in deep, uneven wild hog tracks. The smell of freshly upturned soil still lingered. It was obvious the herd had swept through here the night before. Seeing the fields in ruins, we knew today's job wouldn't be easy. We quickly agreed on a strategy and set out just as the sunlight began to spill over the hills. The hounds ran ahead, sniffing nonstop. We followed a narrow trail leading into the nearby woods. The ground was covered in fresh rooting marks, proof that the herd was still close. Gnawed tree trunks and patches of overturned soil showed up one after another along the path. Not long after, the hounds suddenly growled and charged toward a thick patch of brush. Instinctively, we spread out, each of us taking a strategic position. From the tall grass, a full-grown wild hog burst out without warning. We raised our rifles at the same time. One member of the team pulled the trigger, the shot echoing through the corner of the woods. The animal dropped after a few final stomps. We had barely regrouped when the dogs picked up new signs. A larger herd was gathering near a patch of damp soil in the valley below. We moved in that direction, our steps quickening. From a distance, dark, glossy backs began to appear. The wild hogs were busy digging through the ground, completely unaware that we were closing in on them. We split into two groups, one circling left while the other held the right flank. Once everyone was in position, we opened fire at the same moment. The herd exploded into chaos, kicking up mud as they scattered. One large hog tried to escape through a line of trees, but I managed to cut off its path. I stayed calm, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. It dropped instantly. The smell of soil, sweat, and the sound of heavy breathing blended together, creating an indescribably tense atmosphere. Just when we thought things had settled down, the gun smoke hadn't even cleared when we spotted fresh signs. Another herd was moving west toward a large feeding area that stretched to the hillside. We followed their trail, crossing patches of rough, rocky ground. By late morning, we stumbled upon a scene that made all of us freeze for a few seconds. A massive herd of wild hogs was crowded around piles of spilled feed. There were so many of them that the ground seemed to tremble with every step they took. Their bristling hair, heavy gait, and alert eyes made them look like a small army. I knew this would be the most critical moment of today's hunt. We hid behind a row of large tree trunks, each of us choosing a target. When the signal came, the whole team opened fire at once. Sharp, crisp shots echoed one after another, scattering the herd like water hitting a barrier. One hog after another dropped onto the dusty ground. Others tried to run toward the open area, but the ambush team was already waiting there. The near-perfect coordination allowed us to keep up the pressure, giving the wild hogs no chance to regroup. We swept our scopes toward the left side of the field and spotted another herd moving in. Young hogs ran among the adults, seemingly unaware of the danger closing in. We shifted our ambush positions, keeping our focus razor-sharp. I found the perfect angle and dropped the largest one with a clean single shot. More shots followed in quick succession, taking down several others. As the sun began to dip, I finally let out a long breath. The number of hogs taken down today won't erase the threat entirely, but it's enough to give the locals a bit of safety for now. Dust clung to my clothes, sweat soaked through my shirt, but a sense of relief settled in as I looked back at what we'd accomplished. Today's wild hog hunt comes to an end here. Which moment of this pursuit impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next intense hunting story.
Across the blazing South, from Texas to Alabama, all the way to Georgia, a menace is growing beyond control. Wild boars. They tear up the fields, flatten gardens, turn harvests into ruins, and spread fear through every village. Even the sturdy electric fences that once stood strong no longer faze them. Now, there's only one choice left, to hunt them down. With years of hunting experience behind me, I joined forces with local farmers. As night fell, the shadows of our enemies began to emerge. The hunt had officially begun. At first, only a few stray boars appeared, separated from the herd, easy targets. But soon the scene changed. Groups kept pouring in, shattering the stillness of the night. They moved restlessly, eyes sharp with caution, making it nearly impossible to aim with precision. I could tell they had already sensed the danger. Their keen sense of smell could help them slip away in an instant. But I wasn't about to let that chance slip. Holding my breath, I squeezed the trigger. The gunfire roared, several dropped, while the rest vanished into the darkness. About half an hour later, I spotted another sign. Out on the muddy ground, a few wild boars were busy digging for food, completely unaware of danger. I fixed my eyes on the biggest one, steadied my aim, and pulled the trigger. The shot rang out, sending the herd into a panic, scattering in all directions. But the one I chose didn't stand a chance, it collapsed on the spot. Around us, my team had already closed the circle, leaving them no way out. The more they thrashed in fear, the more mistakes they made, and we seized every opening. We barely had time to catch our breath when we spotted a much larger herd. Moving quietly, we closed in, keeping about 100 meters away. I locked my sights on a massive boar. The shot rang out, it leapt as if to flee, but it was already too late. A few more went down right after, throwing the herd into chaos. The rest bolted into the dark woods, vanishing in an instant. Still, with the instinct of someone who's been through this before, I knew one thing for sure: they wouldn't be gone for long. They'd be back. Just when it seemed like things were over, a massive herd appeared at the forest's edge. Full-grown boars with coarse bristled hair and heavy bodies, their eyes sharp and hostile, were busy devouring spilled corn across the field. They had no idea I had slipped in close. I took careful aim and pulled the trigger. The shot cracked, and one dropped on the spot. That shot threw the whole herd into chaos.